I'm here with Gordon Sams and the NASCAR Charger 23. Gordon, you were looking real good out there last week. What happened?
Well, a number of things. We thought first the carburetor went away, but then looked at it a little closer and it ended up being out of gas. And then as we pulled in the pits, the timing chain went away, so it just quit. Just kind of a bad thing to lead the whole race and then not make it through the end.
Were you, needless to say, real disappointed?
Well, no, I was happy because it's the first year I've ever raced. You know, I've worked on people's cars for all these years with Brassfield and everybody else, and it kind of felt good to lead and do that good. Even finishing second, you know, I can't complain.
Yeah, you were looking good out there. Who's sponsoring you this year?
It's Brassfield Auto Parts, and I have Tialina, House of Carpets, and Gary's Towing.
How's the car handling?
Good. It's real good now. We made a bunch of changes this last week and getting the motor running again, and made some chassis changes just to see what'll happen. Well, it's all trial and error because, you know, we're new at this. So.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer a wet track or medium or dry?
Probably medium. Running during the day like that, you got one groove of a racetrack, and that's all there is. And that's, you know, some of the guys that were running behind me that day, I'm sure they had bigger motors, and that's why, because they had nowhere to run. There was one groove, and just get in line and play follow the leader for a while.
How about the competition out there?
It's real good. It's, you know, I haven't seen anybody really do any rough driving or anything. It's so, you know, we can't really, nobody can complain. And everybody seems to be getting along real well, and that's the thing, you gotta realize when you're out there that the people are out there to do the same thing you are, just to race, not to take each other out.
What does Gordon Sams do in his off time when he's not racing? What do you
I work for the power company, Tucson Electric Power, and play golf, and that's about it.
Are you a married fella?
Yeah.
How about any kids?
Got one boy, he's 4. His name's JD.
And how about your wife? Is she real supportive of your racing career?
Yeah, first she wasn't too sure about it, but she's been around it long enough with me working on everybody else's cars.
It's a relatively safe sport.
Oh yeah, you know, you got to build a car to be safe. You can't just come out here and expect to run with a car off the street, or you got to use your head. You really do.
So this is your first year actually behind the wheel?
Well, I raced go-karts for a while. And with the people I've helped in the past and stuff, you know, I've got the mud pack and hot lap their cars.
What gave you the bug to go for it?
I've had the bug for years, and I just finally got the drive to just you know, do it. I might as well do it now. It's as good time as any.
How many hours a week are you putting into the car?
Well, right now, a bunch of us guys that work on the car, there's 3 of us, and we're all working different shifts right now. So each person takes a different time to work on it. Me and another guy work on it at night, and one of the guys works on it during the day because he works at night right now. So we're getting a lot of, you know, we're done with the car Thursday. And I think that's the way it should be. You know, you don't want to work the day you're racing. That's right. But everybody says that, and they always do anyway.
They always do anyway. Well, what do you think of the racetrack itself? You like the width of it?
Oh yeah. Dave's done a fantastic job out here. This place has needed to be like this for years. There's no question that, you know, even the people and the fans seem like they're really enjoying it a lot this year, because they can come out here and they can be comfortable. They don't eat dust all night long, and they're seeing some good races.
Yes, they are. If you keep the car together tonight, you're going to be back out here tomorrow?
I'm going to try to. We'll see what happens.
Gordon Sams, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you all the rest of the year.
Okay.
And you've been putting on some good show. Hope you win tonight.
Got to keep trying harder.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jack.
I'm here with the NASCAR Winston late model car number 40, Leroy Waltz from Wilcox. Is that right, Leroy?
Yes.
And your sponsor is?
Custom Paving.
Custom Paving. Have any other sponsors?
No, that's about the only one.
Leroy, you were out here last week, I believe.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Well, I broke a fan belt, so I just kind of cruised around, finished the race. I had one belt on and broke one other one. So.
How's the car handling?
Not as good as these fast guys, but I just come out to have a lot of fun and just get out of Wilcox.
And this bearded fellow over here is a friend of mine, Larry Head, the owner of Custom Paving, and your proud sponsor. I've known this guy for, well, just maybe too long, I don't know. Larry, what's your function out here with the race car?
Just help out with the car when Leroy takes it out, and I help him check it when he brings it back in, and just checking the car over and keeping it clean.
The one-man pit crew.
You betcha.
Are you looking for other help?
Always looking for good help.
Are you looking for any more sponsors?
You bet. Yeah.
You'd welcome somebody else right
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
How much time was involved in putting this late model together?
Oh, you can just spend how much time you want to spend on them. I don't. You just work on them all winter. Off seasons, you just work on them off and on.
You don't keep
weekends.
track, huh?
No.
Just till you run out of money?
Yeah.
How was the car handling out there?
It wasn't doing too bad for a heavy car like this, and being for what it is, it's it's not. We're satisfied.
Uh-huh. How about the mill? What kind of mill are you running under the hood?
It's a 377.
In carburation?
Holly, 1.4 barrel.
1.4 barrel?
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol.
You're running alcohol in there?
Yeah.
You think you'll be able to keep up with the trimmers and the Russells and guys like that after you get the car, say the suspension set and the engine going right? You think you'll be right up there with them?
No.
No?
Real truthful, no. They gotta have
try, though?
They gotta have somebody to go around, and so, but that's this is what we got, and we just come out and have fun and enjoy the weekend, and
That's what racing's all about.
yeah. Try to stay out of the fast guys' way, but there's some out there I can kind of compete with and race with, so
I've seen
we
a
let
few
the
of those.
fast guys go, and we catch the ones that we can run with.
Try to just get up there in place. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
You know,
good.
I don't want to mess the fast guys up, but yet I don't want, we're just,
You're out there to compete.
yeah,
Have fun.
Have
Out there to
fun.
have fun.
yeah.
You truck her all the way in from Wilcox every weekend and then back, or do you
Yeah.
spend the night ever?
Now we go back home.
Go back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, Leroy, good luck to you tonight. Good luck to you this year. And we'll be watching you out there and rooting for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, sure, thank you.
All right, thank you. Larry?
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you. Okay, I'm here with Sheila Van Hoff in the car number 22. Did I pronounce your last name right, Sheila?
Right.
Okay, good. Sheila, you were looking real good out there last week. And what happened?
Last week, well,
Yeah.
I'm still learning. This is my second year, and I've been racing figure 8 the first year, and I didn't do too good. This year, I'm having fun. I like circle track, and I just go high once in a while. I get excited and I lose it.
We all get excited. Who's sponsoring you this year?
We have Big O, Riley's Big O on Golf Links and Kolb, and Paul's Automotive. He's in Lakeside Business Park on Golf Links in Pano. And that's it.
And word has it that you're getting married pretty soon.
Yeah.
When is this all coming about?
October 3rd.
October
this year,
3rd?
Yeah.
Now, we're racing till November. Are you getting married out on the racetrack or
Oh,
winter
no.
circle?
I had to take the weekend off.
You have to take the weekend off?
Yeah.
So is this your first year racing?
No, this is my second year.
This is your second
My
year?
first year I raced in 85 here, figure 8,
Uh-huh.
and I came 10th overall in the season. And I raced up in Eloy a couple times, but this is really, I've learned a lot in these past, year, and I'm improving now. I'm having fun.
You're doing real good. What's your fiance's name?
Mike Meitner.
Mike! Come on over here, Mike. Come on over here. Let's get Mike in the picture here.
No time.
No time. Mike, what do you think of this young lady racing out there?
Well, I don't have any problems with it. She enjoys it, so that's the reason we built the car for her.
Uh-huh.
She ran a partial season the last time we ran out here and did real well. Finished 10th in the figure 8.
Have you been racing at all?
Not this year. Just the last time we ran out here, I ran Sportsman.
Uh-huh.
And we got the championship in that year. And just waiting to get something together for this year.
I just asked Sheila if you guys were getting married out on the racetrack. She said, no way.
No, we'll stay clean for one night.
How about Stomper Hill? We'll put down That's good. Sounds like you guys are having a lot of fun.
That's what we do it for. It's nothing to make a living in around here, but we do it for a hobby.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm impressed with Sheila and the Fetters. Pamela and Sheila. They both look good out there. They're giving the guys a run for their money. And
Well, that's
I'm just out there to have fun.
just out there to have fun.
Yeah.
the same way with Michelle Gibson. It was her first race last week.
94.
And we kind of helped her out, and I think she'll do well. Just get the hang of it. It'll be her second night out tonight. So.
So she's somewhat of a rookie then.
Yeah.
She's never been in on the floor last weekend, and she did.
Is that right?
She
Yeah.
did real well, I thought.
I encourage any lady who wants to do it, go ahead and try.
Well, you
It's
say you're out
fall.
here just for the fun, Sheila, but I was watching you drive, and you look like you wanted to win to me.
Well, that's the fun part.
Yeah.
That's the fun part of it. Huh? Well, listen, good luck to you tonight, and good luck to you on your marriage coming up here in October, and hope you have a great season.
We will.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Appreciate it.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Dana Fight in the car number 84. Dana, a nice looking machine. What kind of car is this? Is this a Mustang?
Yes, it is. It's a 1973 Mach 1.
Looks like you've got this blue paint. What do they call that?
It's
metallic?
yeah. It's the color was a 1978 ultramarine blue, is what they call it.
Uh-huh.
But it is a Chevy color.
Have you raced this car this year?
No.
This is your first time out?
Well, because I ran it last week, and the thing only ran about 3 or 4 laps, and it got up to 230 degrees. So I figured, well, there's really no sense in trying to ruin the engine when there's still about another 23 weeks left of racing. There ain't no sense ruining it the first time out.
That's right. Who's sponsoring you this year?
I've got a radiator through Quality Radiator, and a lot of the work has been done through me and my dad, called Valley Auto Service, over on 2901 North Stone.
What kind of power plant you running under the hood?
It's 351 Cleveland.
And a 4-barrel?
Yes. It's got just about 500 horses.
Oh, is that right? And what are you running as far as fuel?
I'm just running the regular racing fuel.
Just a regular racing fuel? No alcohol or nothing like that? No nitro?
No. No, you can't see that stuff burn, and I'd rather see the flames burning if I'm burning too.
You're not allowed to use that nitro anyway, is that right? Are some of the guys using it out here?
No, not that I know of.
Not that
I
you
hope
know.
not.
You hope
They
not.
are, they're crazy.
Dana, how do you feel that, how do you feel you compare with the guys like Trimmer and Rick Sipes and Ivan Russell? Can you hold your own against these guys, or is it just a little bit too early to tell?
I think time will tell on that one.
Are you going to go for it?
I'm going to go for it.
You're going to try to get right up there with
Oh,
a
yeah.
good, positive racing attitude.
You bet. Go to the front and stay there.
Any predictions for the winner of the Indianapolis 500 this year?
No, not really. Not really.
You rooting for anybody?
Anybody that finishes, because if they finish, they're doing a real good job.
What kind of money you have in this?
Almost close to $30,000.
$30,000?
Don't look like it, does it?
No, it's a sharp-looking car.
But,
You must have done a whale of a job on that engine.
yes,
And the transmission.
The
and
best
rear
of
end,
everything.
Best of everything.
best of everything.
Just a combination of putting her together and
Trying to make everything work all at once, the way it's supposed to. That's the object.
what made you go with this metallic blue?
I like the color.
That's just her favorite.
I like blue.
I don't blame you. You looking for any more sponsors?
Yeah, I can take anybody I can get. More money, the better.
Well, keep it in the safe lane tonight. Good luck to you, Dana.
Alrighty.
We'll be watching you.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Thank you. A rapid interview with the rapid driver of the car number 17, the Coors car, the Coors Light car, Ivan Russell. Ivan, how you feeling tonight?
Oh, I feel good. I think we've got a good shot at it. We've learned a bit, I think, and I think we're going to be about right. I think it's going to be a good track. I think the other division with us is going to give us a little harder track and a little more of what we want. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I notice you're hanging right toward the front the last few weeks, so you look like you're getting all the suspension and everything else put together. You feel more comfortable now in the last week or so?
I think so, yeah. We've learned a bit, and I think that Cliff has been doing the racetrack just a little bit differently, and I think it's going to be a better track. You're going to see more passing, and it's going to be a better show altogether, I believe.
What do you like? Do you like a wet track or not so wet?
Well, everybody knows that I have always gone better on a wetter track, and we're trying to get rid of that part of our program and get a reputation of going better on a hard track. So we worked all winter trying to sort some things out for that, and then it hasn't come around. So I think when the track gets harder, we're going to be better.
I heard you on the radio yesterday right after I left the station with Bob Allen, and you mentioned that you put in around 40 hours a week on this car. Now, is that by yourself, or is that with your crew, or is that just man hours?
Right. No, I'm so busy at the shop that I can't really put in that much time. Personally, I do very little work on the car. Philip Trinidad is one of the main guys, this fellow right here, and Wayne over here is one of the other fellows, and they put in the hours.
They put in quite a few hours.
Right. Well, we're lucky we've got a shop. We're able to maintain it, and they don't have to work too many late hours. We're able to do it pretty much during the day.
Good.
Some of the fellows who don't have a shop and can't afford to do it on working hours, they've got it really rough, but we're a little more fortunate there.
A lot of work goes into these late models.
Oh, you bet.
Yes.
Right. It takes a lot of time.
Well, Ivan, good luck to you tonight. I know you got to get back to what you were doing on the car, so
well, thank you very much.
We'll be watching you.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, Ivan. Did you name it the bottomless beer well?
Dave Manus gets credit for that one all the way.
That's our bottomless beer well, where they're serving Budweiser and Bud Light.
I think Golden Eagle is the one who told him it was bottomless.
Oh, is that right? Okay. And Coors and the Silver Bullet, the light beer from Coors, and Miller Lite. And I thought perhaps we might see Lake Mayonnaise filled up this week, but didn't look like we had enough rain out here. What I'm talking about is that indention over there, or that depression between 3 and 4. I get depressed sometimes. That depression over there by that white tire between corner number 3 and 4, we've named that Lake Mayonnaise, or Mayonnaise, after the owner of Raven Raceway, Dave Manus. And I'm hoping to see that thing fill up, and this is terrible to say, I'm hoping to see one of those off-road guys go through it.
Not me. I would love to see it. Hey, before we have to get too strict with this thing, I'll just tell you now, we're awfully tickled to see you folks who are already here in the stands. You might want to think about congregating up just a bit, because the cars and the people are still pouring into this place. So where you can make it convenient for folks who are a little bit later arriving than yourselves to get in, and conveniently so without disturbing us, a whole great deal, let's do it.
Yes.
And also remember that toward our main event time tonight, we do a thing out here called the Raven Wave.
I can't wait.
And it commences down at the left end of the grandstands when the lead car in what we guess to be the last couple of parade laps stands. The man in that Winston shirt, and has he got his red high tops on tonight? I think so. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Mr. Dave Manus.
Good evening, everybody. What do you think? No clouds for a change. I don't believe that myself. Been about 7 weeks out of 8. I've been walking around here on pins and needles thinking we're going to get rain, and tonight looks like we got beautiful skies. So I think it's picture perfect for the Larry Brandon Memorial. Very special thanks to their family for letting us carry Larry's name on with the racing scene and the way that we just described to do it to you as far as the burn center and everything. I thank you all very much for being here. We're going to have one heck of a show tonight. There's no doubt about it. We put the Chargers with them tonight. That's going to give you some more heat races and another main event. I would like you all, there's a lot of cars still coming in the parking lot. Please, if you see the people looking for seats, move towards the centers a little bit. Give them some room if you would. I have a very special guest here tonight. And I don't mean to be looking at a piece of paper, but I want to make sure I get this guy's title right. It's Kelly Riley. He is the Winston Racing Series team manager for R.J. Reynolds from Winston-Salem, South Carolina. I'd like you to give him a nice round of applause. North Carolina, he says. All right. Boys, he decked out. George seen these pants, and he about had a fit because they got, show them there, Kelly. Got Winston down the sides on them. He brought me a nice shirt here to wear tonight. But I would like to compliment Winston for getting involved with this facility on a national level. They have purchased billboard space, which you can see on the racetrack. They also provided, and this is the first time I've announced it, but they did provide all the red and white paint that has been used on this facility, and that is one lot of paint. And, and it has a little story there. When Kelly asked me to order paint, I told him how many gallons I needed, being as I'm a ex-house painter, you might say. And they didn't think that was too realistic a figure what I needed, because they said at Darlington Speedway, I believe the comment was, or something, didn't order that much, and it's 3 times as big as this place. But Kelly, he was here 2 weeks after we signed the contract, made the negotiations with NASCAR, so he's seen the construction of this place, and in the very beginning when we had tore everything apart here, literally all the buildings and everything. What do you think now, Kelly?
You've done a tremendous job, Dave, and I'd like to say to the fans, Dave's given you a good product, and you've certainly responded. Winston Racing Series and NASCAR is delighted to be here. I'm delighted to see such a wonderful turnout, and I know you want to see some racing, so hope to see you again this season. Thanks.
Carolyn, our national anthem singer, had to take tonight off, but we did something special we had so many requests for. We sent her down and we had it recorded so we wouldn't have to listen to the other style. And keep Carolyn in mind here. We're going to let the national anthem go here, and I'd like to designate this one to you, Kelly, for being here for our first night where we really see stars. So maybe you brought us some luck. We'll have to keep you around this place. So if everybody please stand up. We'll have the national anthem. George Camp will do the flag raising as usual.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
As you notice, we lowered the flag 2 or 3 feet. We would like drivers that are in the top 20. So keep the encouragement up to our local drivers, and maybe this guy will see us in Nashville, Tennessee. Huh, Kelly?
I hope so, Dave. Give him that $25,000.
Boy, that'd be nice to see some of our hometown guys bring some of that back here. And I know one thing, you haven't seen partiers till you've seen these trimmers and people. These are desert folks. They like them places.
I've seen some partiers here in Tucson.
Kelly's going to leave early tonight. He's got to get back to Phoenix. He made a special trip down here just to be here to see what the racetrack looked like. Kelly, thank you very much for coming, and we're real proud to be representing your company. How about a nice hand for Kelly Riley? That company funded over $25,000 for our late models this year, and I think it's real neat we finally got a national sponsor. Don't forget, next week, 2-night show. We're going to run a complete program both nights. Saturday night and Sunday night. They will both be night shows. It'll be a complete NASCAR program on Saturday night with the Chargers, like you're seeing tonight. And Sunday night, we're going to put the super modifieds with the NASCAR Winston late models, and I know that's going to be a bang-up show. So enjoy yourselves tonight. Have a good time. We'll see you at intermission.
On the pole position, going to be leading them on around.
Outside on that front row with car number 21, Tucsonan Brian Clayton.
And inside on the second row, Gordon Sam, sponsored by Brassfield Auto Parts and Gary's Towing, the car number 23. George Camp's looking at him, Tom.
Outside of row 2, Pam Fetter, and we've got green. We want to get this one going early because even with an early start, it's no doubt going to run into the late hours tonight. It's that kind of numbers we're looking at. Probably, even if they keep it nice and straight and don't get too squirrely and we have a whole lot of yellows, it's going to be a packed show.
Brian Clayton jumping way out in front after the green flag was thrown. And here comes Brian, your leader. And David Henkin.
Building a nice early one, too, isn't he?
Yes, he is. And it's John Banks in second place, being challenged by the Fetter in 18.
Well, when these guys come out, after the late models have been out there doing their hot laps, I always think I've lost my hearing.
And there's Pamela Fetter overtaking John Banks on the back chute as she comes around turn number 3.
But look at that lead being built up by your leader, even in the early on.
And Pamela gonna try to catch him.
And just for the heck of it, we'll put a stopwatch on him this first time to see how big the lead is.
Here comes your leader, Brian Clayton. Car number 91.
Clock's on him, Jack.
Okie doke. And John Banks in the car number 45 has dropped back.
Pamela's only running about 8 seconds behind him.
And she's trying to hold her in on the inside, but she went wide going into turn number 1. Lap number 4 for Brian Clayton. Pamela Fetter desperately trying to throw out the line and reel in Brian. Uh-oh, Pamela squeezing in on the infield, trying to hold her inside, but she's just holding her a little bit too tight. She looks like she's got some problems over there.
And Henkin, who at one time was on the pole, is now running in third place in that orange racer number 69 on the backstretch, about a half lap behind your leader there, Brian Clayton in car number 91.
And Skip Walker challenging Henkin, trying to creep up on him.
Pamela doing a steady job and running it right about in the center of the track now.
Brian Clayton with almost a half a track lead, not quite.
5 of your 8 are now in the book. 3 to go in this first heat race for the NASCAR Chargers.
And 23 went into the pits. Gordon Sams having his problems again tonight. Gordon was your leader last week for quite a while, but he's having some engine problems and just all kinds of problems this week. Brian Clayton, your leader, the car number 91, followed by Pamela Fetter. The white flag is out. George Camp gives Brian the white flag. That means one more lap to go, and I don't think Pamela Fetter is going to catch him. Your third place car is David Henkin. David's from Tucson. In fourth place, Skip Walker, the car number 60. Skip going way wide, coming out of number 3, but brings her back inside. White flag's out. Here comes your leader, Tom.
Taking the checkered, if there was ever any doubt. Number 91, Brian Clayton, having it all his way here in the first heat race of the evening for the NASCAR Chargers, and Pam Fetter, one of your favorites in the Capado Pontiac Metro Oil car.
And in third place, David Henkin from Tucson. And bringing her in fourth, Francis Skip Walker, nicknamed Skip, from Tucson, sponsored by the Wash Tub Laundry.
See if Gordon Sams can get whatever his problems are kinked out in time to hopefully get back a little later on in the evening for semi or main activity. Who we got here, Jackson?
Okay, we've got up front in the car number 1 looked like taking over the pole position, John Van Horn, and we don't even have time to introduce him. Here's the green flag.
Nice and early green. Here we go. Charger heat number 2. Doing it in the green, one of my favorite ways. Tells you how serious these guys were when they decided to whip her into Raven tonight and go racing for some bucks.
Well, speaking of Lucky Larry, there's the 2 cars we were going to drive last week. Larry in the car number 77 being challenged by John Van Horn in that car number 1. And they're side by side, and Van Horn overtakes him on the front straightaway.
Lucky Larry loses it right in front of the home stands, and you've got a new leader in Van Horn, car number 1.
And Joe Blainer just overtook Lucky Larry in the car number 50.
Little fender bender going on between the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th positions right now in this one.
And here comes Mike Murphy making his move up on the leaders. And he's now in 3rd place, the car number 51, Mike Murphy.
And a lot of smoke out of Blainer's machine number 50 at this time, too. Started spewing the blue stuff down here in front of Stomper Hill. What a clean machine John Van Horn's is, being driven tonight by Darrell Fisher. The John Van Horn car being piloted by Darrell Fisher. Joe Blainer in 2nd place in that number 50 car. Mike Murphy, number 51, running in 3rd place. Your 2nd Charger heat race of the evening, and so far it has been a clean presentation.
John Van Horn, your current leader, doing a fine job, but being challenged by Joe Blainer in the car number 50, and in 3rd place, Mike Murphy in 51.
And Blainer still emitting a tremendous amount of smoke now. It seems to be getting progressively worse with each lap down.
And something must have happened to Lucky Larry, because he's way back in the field now, and he was holding his own toward the beginning of this race. John Van Horn being challenged by Blainer. Blainer creeping up on him. Oh, that's Darrell Fisher driving Van Horn's car tonight. My mistake, but Blainer's making his moves.
Riding a cloud of blue right now, ahead of Mike Murphy and behind Darrell Fisher.
And Todd Izzo in that car number 2, hanging right behind Joe Blainer. And he's smoking up a storm there in 50, Tom.
I think George Camp and Bob McKinley are beside themselves. They can't believe that we haven't even so much as had a spin out, and here we are into the last lap of racing for these guys, and we lose one in turn 4.
Uh-oh. We're going to have a yellow flag coming out as Todd Izzo overtook Joe Blainer and now holding the 2nd position.
Yep, George
Look out,
goes
Lucky.
to yellow. Lucky Larry, you want to stay out of that kind of a fray, especially this late in the running.
And that's Mike Murphy in the car number 51, stalled over there in the number 4 corner.
Let's give Kelly Ryan a big, big so long, and thank you for coming down tonight. That's the gentleman leaving the grandstand area right now. Thank you, Kelly, for coming in this evening. Always nice to have you down here in Tucson, home of Raven Raceway.
We need the Coca-Cola video people down by the Coca-Cola van behind the main grandstands. The Coca-Cola video people, report to your van. Dave Maness would like to chat with you. And also, we'll send out that SOS once again, folks. We've got more people still coming in, so if you just squeeze over some or move over some and let some of these other folks have a seat. And there's still some room over on Stomper Hill, isn't there, Tom?
Just a little bit of space left.
So move over if you would, folks.
But it looks to me to be worth putting it down there because those look like party animals on Stomper Hill. I think maybe the Ashton Company, when they built that, had such folks in mind. Robin, you look like a party.
She's a party animal.
Let's all go to Stomper Hill.
Okay, see you later, folks.
We can take that wireless mic. Dave's not using it right now.
Right.
And we'll just go down on Stomper Hill and go live from there.
Yes, it's cooler over there, that's for
I'm
sure.
sure it is a lot cooler in that area, especially when these guys come blowing by.
And there they are, the fellas from Gary's Towing, still doing such a fine job out here at the Raven Raceway. Gary's Towing, you ever need a tow truck, call Gary's. They'll be right out. John Van Horn, your current leader, followed by Todd Izzo in second place, and I guess it's Joe Blainer, Smoking Joe tonight, that car number 50 in third.
And we're still coming in. I can't believe this. I think the last of them are arriving at this very moment.
All right.
And I think we're going to go green.
Green and white. Yeah.
See if we can do it. Darrell Fisher has got one lap to try to keep her up on Todd Izzo. Pair of Tucsonans running 1-2 right now in our second heat race this evening. Second of a trio of them back to back to back here in the NASCAR Charger division. And later on tonight, of course, the Larry Brandon Memorial Special of NASCAR Winston late models, and it's the checkered flag for Darrell Fisher in the John Van Horn car. Todd Izzo in second place.
Uh-oh, look at number 50.
And Blainer has got his problems right now.
He was at third place, but he's not anymore. And he's smoking, and it looks like he might have blew a tire.
Slowly but surely fading away on him this evening. Darrell Fisher, Todd Izzo, running 1-2. In this our second Charger heat race.
Well, here's how they wrap up. Darrell Fisher, Tom, was in first place. And who came in second?
Todd Izzo.
Okay, and Bob Pennington, the car number 15, wound up in third place.
He made a good charge at the late. Rather quickly, if you don't move it, we'll probably find somebody to move it, and they probably won't move it to your satisfaction. If you've got a yellow Scout with the license number DNG 748, an Arizona plate DNG 748, you better get it moved. We're under green.
Yes, we are.
And nobody knows it better or quicker than Butch McCleskey, who takes the lead into turn one in car number 36. And looks like he's going to hang on to it at least into the backstretch as we get a little tight up there in early turn two. Yellow Scout, DNG 748. Better move it. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I love the color job on that number 55. Looks to me like the grape that got loose from the Fruit of the Loom commercial.
Jerry said it looks like a prune instead of a grape. Butch McCleskey, your leader, the car number 36, going way wide in that number 4 corner. And John Fetter trying to catch up. Hey, look, Don McMurrick is catching up to Fetter in that car number 86.
It'll be interesting to see John's stance in that number 2 position with the number 19 car, whether he can hang on to it or if he eventually loses out to the Golden Eagle car, number 86.
Well, Butch McCleskey really wants this one. He's a bit overdriving going into that number 3 corner. And he's going wide again.
And you know, every now and then you see that plastic stuff come flying out of the cockpit of the cars. What those are little removable windshields. They put the windshields on like so many layers of saran wrap, and as each layer gets dirty, they rip it off.
Lap number 4 in this 8-lap heat race.
In fact, they're called ripaways, and then they just throw them on the track.
Butch McCluskey driving his heart out, and look at Don McMerrick in 86 trying to overtake Fetter, Tom.
Still looks a little slippery on the low side.
I can attest for that.
36, McCluskey really seems to have found the sweet spot. I don't know if these guys have a cushion like the late modelers do, but if they don't, they certainly do have their sweet spots. And right now, I would venture to say McCluskey has gotten right in the groove of what he considers to be a sweet spot. At least it's been sweet for him so far.
And I think he likes to stay on the outside because that's where he's holding her on the outside. And he's doing a fine job, too.
Well, if they've got it set up properly and they like the way the track at that height conditions a little bit quicker than it does at the lower altitudes, if you will, on the track surface, then they have found that magic they came to find. And right now we're looking at one magical lap to putting McCluskey in the win column, heat racing wise, but John Fetter is as close as he has been.
Oh, he tried to slip in there, just didn't have the horses to go by McCluskey. White flag out, last lap coming up here.
And it looks like that trio may stay put. Let's see if Fetter can hang on to it or if perhaps he loses it. Not so. In fact, he's going to put a pretty good charge on McCluskey.
He sure did.
Next best thing to a photo finish, but the way we see it, Butch McCluskey in car 36, John Fetter ever so close behind in second place, and Don McMurrick, car number 86, taking third place. All unofficial and all early. And the late models now get their chance to come back and do their thing in the form of a variety of heat races for those guys. And we'll be moving on to semis and or mains. Haven't gotten the word officially on that just yet. But as soon as we do, we'll pass that information along. And I see I'm in luck because one of the cars I've come to see tonight, that number 29 Camaro, is going to be in the pole position. Let's see if Tucson can also be a land of enchantment for car number 111. George Camp eyeballs them with all the seriousness he can muster. They've impressed him, and let's go racing! Well, the Mustang certainly looking like he's on turn one, and we've got trouble in turn two. But we've got that car escaping what might have been some serious damage and potential injury. Not a problem for the Mustang. He was the last one in line when it happened. But not so back there in turn two where you do it in traffic, and you suddenly got to watch out all the way around you.
Rick Sipes almost bought his lunch on that one.
And Lady Luck has so much to do with it. I don't care how experienced you are, how many of them you've run in. It's bound to happen. Going to be interesting to see how this little Mustang handles, too, because he's been bobbing around quite a bit in the early on this one.
He looks like he's got the horses. Let's see if he has the suspension. That's the restart flag that Bob McKinley has out there. This will be a complete restart. And they're still coming in, so move over some, folks, and let some of these newcomers have a seat tonight here at Raven Raceway.
If you know where the empty spots are, help the newcomers find them, assuming there are any empty spots. We'll check that out later on this evening when we do our Raven Wave. One of these weeks, I expect to see the whole east end of the grandstands just pop into the heavens when we get everybody standing up down here at the right end. Tonight may be the night.
Maybe.
Coca-Cola and Budweiser, our big corporate smokers out here this year. Oftentimes we have people from those two facilities at our facility, and it's a very nice and interesting combination. Now, you folks, instead of watching the cars right here, Take a look at George Camp up in the starter stand. Watch how serious he gets. He leans right out over the guard railing. They anticipated just a little bit much there.
Yep,
they
sure
impressed
did.
him the last time around. Thought they had it sewed up this time, and George says, guys.
Not going to fool old George. It's going to be interesting to see now if Dan Smith brings him around a lot slower this time. I'd put my money on it if I had any money. Dan Smith, the car number 29, on the pole position, leading him around real slow and creeping up just a little bit.
Now look at George Camp as he looks at the racers and gives them the green. We're under green again. And look at that charge by Dancing Dan Smith and Bobby Markham and Dan Bradford putting a big move on with that New Mexican T-Bird as we get one loose between turns 1 and 2, and it does force the yellow. So we're having some problems getting this one rolling. But once we do, I can tell you this, folks, from what I have seen in a few short weeks, some flat-out chargers. I got a feeling that T-Bird is one, visiting us from Farmington, New Mexico tonight, being piloted by Dan Bradford. And I think Dan Smith, down from Phoenix, in that Camaro number 29, flat well knows it, because he's been jumping on it too, as he anticipates getting the green from George Camp. And it's been a bumper-to-bumper, neck-to-neck charge to get the lead into and out of that first turn. So Camp heads down to do it in the dirt. He's right down on the track surface, and he's going to let these drivers know, hey, we're not going to do this, and we're not going to pay you until you get it together, and we're ready to go racing.
Well, he's telling Dana Fight that 2 solo spins, and you're out. So they black flag Dana Fight into the pits.
And sometimes it's a little hard to get that message across from up on the platform. So what you'll see George do is venture down the ladder, climb into the dirt, and talk up close and personal to the drivers. Now, since it's not a restart, you see them in single file fashion. They're getting George's eye, and George is impressed enough to say, let's go racing again. We're under green. And this time, the T-Bird himself gets passed by Rick Sipes, and suddenly the visiting T-Bird is in 3rd place and not 2nd place. And Rick Sipes, who's been doing a lot of testing in weeks past, is now looking down the exhaust of that guy right there, your leader. He's a Phoenician, Dan Smith, in car number 29.
And Rick was at the rear at the beginning of this race, and he's really moved up there.
Rick's a red-hot charger, week after week after week. Look at the spread on number 1 to number 2. Sipes following Smith, followed by Bradford.
And Kevin Clayton trying to catch up to Dan Bradford in that car number 111. And he's catching him too. Well, we've got a battle for 3rd place. Kevin Clayton and Dan Bradford.
Bradford seems to be holding his own, though, Jack, down the backstretch. Looks like it may be getting a little tight there in turn 3 as your leaders go by. And we've got about a 1/5 to maybe a 1/4 of a lap separating the leader, Dan Smith, and the pursuer, Rick Sipes.
Lap number 5 coming up.
Who would love nothing better than to rack up a big victory here tonight, this close to a birthday. That would make, I would think, the perfect birthday present. Yellow once again because of a squirrel in the backstretch. Number 75 going awry back there, George Banghart. Increasingly popular Tucson driver.
Well, for safety's sake, the yellow flag was put out. We weren't sure, or not we, but George Camp was not sure if Mr. Bankhart was going to make it into the infield out of the way.
I always say better safe than...
Than what?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I would rather be safe and see the laps slowed down for a race or two than somebody make a misassumption that a car is off the track when in fact part of it isn't. Interesting psychology right here. And that guy who has the lead pretty much has the option at the speed or the pace they set during these lead-ups to green. George Camp has got his eye on him again and says, let's do it, gentlemen. Let's wrap this one up. Dan Smith managing to hang on in the early on into turn one and out of turn one. He's got company taking some bumping from the inside by Rick Sipes in that 4U Budweiser car. And with the bumping, Sipes seems to have lost a little bit of ground. But right about here is where he made it all up in that last lap. Let's see if he's still got the number on Dan Smith. He seems to almost have it, but not quite enough to get into the lead. To power out of turn two and down the back stretch. So he'll hang in there like a shadow, content to do that on Dan Smith for a while, and hope opportunity comes to knock it. The Thunderbird from New Mexico fading back from the pack. It's become a two-car race.
White flag coming up.
With one lap to go. Dan Smith will be the first to take that, followed by Rick Sipes. A split seconds difference between those two cars. Rick continues to chip away week after week after week, getting the most accurate available reading on this track, and it's showing. Checkered flag to Phoenician Dan Smith. Rick Sipes takes second place.
And Kevin Clayton trying to make his moves on Dan Bradford, but nope, he's not going to do it.
Can't get it done.
Nope.
Dan Bradford in that car 111 out of Farmington, New Mexico. Good for third place here in our third heat race this evening for the NASCAR Chargers.
Hey, folks, let's give him a big hand. The winner of this third heat, the 29 car, Dan Smith.
Enco Mobile Brakes, the big sponsor behind your winner. Bud, of course, the big folks behind that second place car of Rick Sipes. But it's interesting watching him week after week after week to get his readings on the track, apply it in the form of technology and technique on the car, and then week after week of improvement. So it'll be interesting.
Okay, we've got our second heat for our late models. That was only one heat. That was a long race for a heat race. Gary's tow truck slipping and sliding in the mud, making her into the infield.
These drivers are certainly getting into their patterns early. This one looks impressive, and they've got George impressed to go green. We're off and running again. Good charge. Boy, what a feeling that gives you as a spectator to hear all that power, see all that sleek machinery go slingshotting up to turn one in the first lap of these heat races. What an exciting sight it is. Throckmorton in command. Dwayne Lang running in second place right now with that car number 88. And a lot of brushing going on in those latter positions.
And Kyle Trimmer making his moves on him up toward the front.
Throwing it, diving it into turn three. Paul Banghart now up into third place. So it's Throckmorton, Paul Banghart, and Dwight Lang running 1, 2, 3 right now. And here they come again. Throckmorton flashing by, followed by Paul Banghart, car number 71, Dwayne Lang, and look who's joined them.
Carl Trimmer.
In 74, Carl Trimmer. the spirit of Vicky Lynn. Big charge by Trimmer in turn 4. And he just lets it slide to the outside of Dwayne Lang. But he can't power under him up in turn 1, and I had a feeling that's what Carl was thinking about doing up here.
Lap number 5 coming up.
And no change in your top 4, but speaking of change, you can just about drop a quarter and tap all 4 fenders on those 4 racing machines. At various times on the track, for sure you can, and we've got yellow.
And a couple spun out in the number 2 corner.
With an entanglement up just shy of turn 2. Five laps are down. It does not look like anything serious up there. We've seen some hand waving going on between drivers and a blue word or two. Always marvelous at how quickly they can determine at a time like this who screwed up, who caused it. It's no different than husbands and wives trying to drive communally in the same family car.
That's Roy Gibson in the car number 61 and Steve McGuire in 24 in that little mishap over in the number 2 corner. And they'll have to go to the rear of the pack as they come around for the green when it starts up once again.
Some awfully good-looking machinery down here tonight for this one. A lot of it coming in from Phoenix, some of it from New Mexico. That seems to be the case each week. And a strong contingent of Tucson drivers or drag racer. And, of course, you know what happened with drag racing in our town.
It's gone.
And he seems to be making the transition pretty sweetly. And we've got green again, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Oh, look at Trimmer squeeze on the inside of Dwayne Lang. And he's
look at that surge. Awesome power. Jolting out of turn 2 and into the back stretch and hanging on to it, and he's going to be your leader down the home stage. Running just ahead of Jim Throckmorton Jr. in that car number 52. 74, 52, a pair of Tucson drivers and cars, back to back, but at the head of the pack, and we've got the white flag.
One more lap to go.
Boy, these guys are just flat out pushing her tonight, aren't they?
They sure are. And I'll tell you what, if we had a few more, there's Marion Smiley overtaking 88, and now he's in 2nd place.
And hanging on to it,
hanging on.
Oh, it's crunch time down there in turn 3.
And Smiley did it.
I think Dwayne, Mr. Lang may have a few words to say to his fellow driver over that little maneuver back in the pit field. There you have it. Let's hear it for Carl Trimmer, one of your local favorites in car number 74. Taking her all here.
And look who made it up to 3rd place. Marion Smiley. Right behind
the old Ronnie Lutz car.
Right behind Throckmorton.
Yeah, I think Dwayne may venture up to Marion and say, God, that was a little tight in turn 3 there at the tail end of that one.
I'll tell you what, a few more laps and one more yellow flag, and Marion just might have made it up toward the front. Bedford.
Inside, row number 2, car 17, Ivan Russell.
On the outside of Ivan Russell, the car number 4, Jack Colcott.
Inside, row 3, car 23T, driven by Jack Moore as George Camp eyes him. And we go green once.
There goes a tire right away.
A wheel in the very early on. And thank goodness it happened, because even with just the thrust of power to try to get built up for speed, you saw the struggle going on by that driver to keep the mess from becoming a real mess up in the guardrail.
That looks like Ron Whitwell in the car number 34 lost his wheel right at the green flag. And there could have been a real mishap if he would have been toward the front.
It's got to be an exotic feeling.
Yes.
You're like sitting in a space capsule all ready to blast off, and all of a sudden it goes.
Yep. Ron Whitwell. Car number 34, losing that tire, and then he says, hey, I don't need you, Gary. I'm going into the pits. He almost went into the wall, Ron. Look out.
You thought only the off-roaders did that, right?
Right. We also lost Mike Hancock, number 73, went into the pits, having his problems tonight.
Our driver from Eloy.
A driver from Eloy into the pits. Okay, here they come again, but George
One
got
more
the yellow.
time.
Yep.
Now let's give him one more lap to get her all sorted out. You know, that 101 is not a bad-looking boat. Darrell Bradford. He is a former Farmington, New Mexican who has now switched his allegiance to Arizona, his residency to Gilbert, Arizona. Good to have him over here amongst the good guys, finally.
Watch those legs. Watch.
He's rolling. None.
None. We've got a complete restart.
So we've got us a restart here.
What a fine job the pit crew did for Ron Whitwell's car. Got that tire back on, and he's back out into this one as George Camp picks up the green flag and is going to look at him once again. Take her away, Tom.
And had he waited for help on the track, he might not have gotten back out here in time to get this green, but he's got it now, and a lot of making up to do. But look at how closely they're packed, shooting out of one and through turn 2. Jack Moore trying to make some moves back there from the rear of the pack.
Ivan Russell taking a quick second place.
But Dan McFedrin all alone right now in car number 22, but you see who's smoking? Oh, my goodness. And it might have been.
It was
McFedrin. Thinking
McFedrin.
about who that is on my bumper that created some of that confusion in turn 2, and suddenly you've got number 17, Ivan Russell, in a position to take it over as we go to yellow once again here on a Larry Brandon Memorial at Raven Raceway. Catch-up time for the one-time leader, car number 22, Dan McFedrin, the Ajo Cafe car. He's a 53-year-old single, got 3 kids, and pushing that Camaro 355 around here tonight. That always helps. Helps in card playing, and it helps in racing.
Ivan Russell, your leader, bringing him around.
We've got green once again. Racing at Raven. McFedrin not able to do any slingshotting yet. He's going to have to ride his way forward steadily. And he's already taken away one of those positions he lost. Next to last, he's running. There goes your leader, Ivan Russell, being chased by Jack Cocott. In that car number 4, Darrell Bradford looking pretty good.
Uh-oh!
And there's a fine job of defensive driving by at least 2 of the drivers who had a car broadside and just so little space left. But they all got cleanly by as we go to yellow once again.
As Ron Whitwell spinning out there in the number 2 corner, along with Carl Muldner in the car number 90.
There's where a conservative approach to a restart, and I'm thinking of Dan McFedrin, can be rather smart for you, because you're just sitting there waiting for others to miss opportunity or bad fortune to come along, and suddenly he has improved himself. Even though he had only driven to 1 position better, he's now suddenly 3 positions better. So that's part of the process of inching his way back up, and there's the guy he wants to catch. Ivan Russell in the lead, followed by Jack Cocott. Car number 4, Jack, the Borderland Special Machine. Big O, Pro Construction, Copper State Towing, George's Automatic Transmission, and Performance Engines. One of our track sponsors, also that car's sponsor tonight. Daryl Bradford, down from Gilbert, the Phoenix area tonight. And here we go, racing again. Ivan Russell out front, trying to pad 2, but Cocott is hanging tough in that second spot. The Gilbert car is hanging tough in that 3rd spot.
And Moore right behind him.
My goodness, Jack Moore is back and up to that number 4 position just that quickly. Make it number 3. He has just clipped away at the Bradford car in turn 2. But he may be losing it back down in turn 3. I don't think so. Jack is still in 3rd position down the home stretch. Lap 5 about to unravel for you. Here comes lap number 5 for your leader. Right there, Ivan Russell. And that much of a lead. It's a pretty good one right now on that number 2 position. A position that is currently being battled for very gamely from the inside.
Oh, he got him, too. Yes, sir.
Jack Moore takes the lead in 23T from Bradford for second place in this race. What an awesome job of getting back up almost to the top of the pack. But he's still got his eyes on Ivan Russell, and Ivan's got his eye on 1 lap to go. The white is out for Ivan. Now Jack gets it. What a comeback. Even though he won't catch Russell this time around, still from a moral standpoint, a great comeback.
Yes.
And a smart, strategic driving job by Jack Moore. There's your winner, Ivan Russell. Mr. Comeback, Jack Moore. What a job for him tonight. And Daryl Bradford from Gilbert running 3rd in this LM heat race.
Dan McFedrin in the car number 22 came in 4th unofficially. Fine job of driving by Ivan Russell. Real good job of driving. All of these fellows out here.
What a great night of racing. And we thank you one and all for turning out tonight. It's really good to see the family growing. And boy, has it grown in fine fashion here this evening.
And Bob Allen and all those folks over at KCEE 790, Mighty KC Radio and KWFM. And a good welcome out to you guys over there doing such a fine job advertising Raven Raceway. And we're going to be giving away some gifts from, some dinners from Skipper's Seafood Restaurants over at 22nd and Cove in North Oracle. And I ate over there last week, and I want to tell you, it's good food. That's Skipper's at 22nd and Cove and North Oracle. And I want to welcome and thank those guys from Transmedic Ambulance Service. That's Jim Broom and Mike Hollywood out there in the center of the racetrack, doing a fine job. Transmedic Ambulance Service.
In car number 14 from Tucson, Perry Dufek.
Right next to Perry in the back of the pack, the car number 94 from Tucson, sponsored by Quaker, Mr. Quaker State, car number 94, Michelle Gibson.
Car number 26, he's from Tucson, sponsored by Marble Transport, Lee Kinkton.
And in the back there, next to Lee Kinkton, the car number 51 from Tucson, looking for a sponsor, Mike Murphy.
Next up, car number 49 from Tucson. Banks Transmission. Sponsor is John Banks.
Next to Banks in the car number 107, sponsored by Jim's Exxon in Casa Grande, Arizona. From Phoenix, the car number 107, Jerry McCartney.
Number 23 from Tucson, Gordon Sams, the Follow Me to Raven Raceway car.
On the outside row, the car number 55 from Tucson, sponsored by Two Guys Pizza and City of Cars, Big O, car 55, Eric White.
Inside row 7, car number 77. Hope it's lucky for him. He's from Tucson. Lucky Larry Davis.
And that car number 23, Gordon Sam, sponsored by Brassfield Auto Parts and Gary's Towing. Okay, in the car number 9, the Olay Blue Boy, sponsored by Brandon Tire. And Dallas from Dallas, Texas, the car number 9 from Tucson, Terry Bennett.
Inside row 6, car number 22, sponsored by Big O, Paul's Automotive, CP Electric. She'd even like to have 1 or 2 more sponsors. Sheila Van Hoff.
In the 5th row from Tucson, nicknamed Skip, sponsored by the Wash Tub Laundry, the car number 60, Skip Walker.
Inside row 5, car number 86, sponsored by Golden Eagle, Brassfield, and that Sneak Joint Bar and Grill. God, I wonder where that is. Car number 86, Don McMurrick.
On the outside of row number 4, sponsored by Gary's Towing, Discount Tires, Bud's Outback, and the nickname Lucky Married. The car number 15, the winner of last week's main event, Bob Pennington.
Inside row 4, car number 69, he's from Tucson, David Henkin.
On the outside of row number 3, in the car number 36 from Tucson, looking for a sponsor, Butch McCluskey.
Inside row 3, car number 1, sponsored by El Campo Tire, Auto Recyclers, TJ's Floor Covering, and Pennzoil. The John Van Horn car tonight being driven by Daryl Fisher.
On the outside of the 2nd row, right behind her husband, sponsored by Capital Pontiac, Metro Oil, and Don's Exxon, the car number 18 from Tucson, Pamela Fetter.
Sitting inside on row 2 in his first race, car number 91, he's from Tucson, Brian Clayton.
On the outside of the 1st row, from Tucson, the husband of Pam, the car number 19, John Fetter.
Pole position, car number 2. His nickname is Running, and we'll soon see why. Sponsored by RTT Transmission, Lose Mobile, and Big O from Tucson, Todd Izzo.
And there's a $50 extra prize for any gal out there, female driver, coming in first place in the main event. So keep your eye on that car number 18, Pamela Fetter. She won a heat race last week. Let's see what she can do tonight.
Heads up, we got some.
The main event for the NASCAR Chargers. Oh, yes. This will be very interesting. Right, Bob McKinley? As they come down the back straightaway, George Camp has green flag in hand, and let's see if he'll let him go.
What a field. What a field, and they've got the nod to go racing. Off and running for the NASCAR Chargers. Wow.
Are they going to make it through the first turn? And they did.
Got one of them off the wall up there in turn 2.
That's Pamela Fetter.
It's Pam doing a pretty good job of bringing it cleanly off of that wall and getting her back into traffic, and doing so in a smooth, professional fashion.
And John Fetter is in the lead at this time. The car number 19, Pamela's husband, followed by the car number 2.
One spun and sitting low in turn 2.
That's Pamela.
Got another one smoking here in the home stretch, but we're able to keep it under that cool racing color of green, even with another one going awry between turns 1 and 2. And they'll be bringing out the yellow unless we get quick movement out of that disabled car. And in fact have got the yellow right here in time to notify them and slow them down of the potential problem between turns 1 and 2.
That's Todd Izzo in car number 2, spinning out there in the number 2 corner.
What a mass of men and machine.
Yep.
In our NASCAR Charger main event.
20 laps. And a couple of them down right now. 2 down. As George Kent gives him the yellow.
Like the neon lights and the
yes
searchlights that are arcing up over our head from right next door tonight. George lets the field know that we're going to do one more at a snail's pace. Make sure they're aligned properly and the way they are supposed to be. If not, then he'll slip this microphone when these guys give it that proverbial goose down here in turn 4.
Proverbial goose?
It doesn't blast us up here and shake and reverberate the announcer's box quite like the late models and the sprints and midgets do, but with the field being this big, here we go.
Holy moly! John Fetter in the car number 19, your leader, and being challenged by Darrell Fisher in the car number 1, and Darrell trying to move up on John. Oh, the yellow flag is out once again. We've got one stalled down here on the front straightaway just before turn number 1, and we've got yellow up. 55 is over right around turn number 4.
Well, that's a lot of traffic at startup time, kind of reminiscent of Speedway on a Friday night in our town.
Well, you folks are in for an extra treat tonight that we just found out. The fairgrounds have some kind of special event going over there, and they're going to be lighting up the skies with some fireworks pretty soon.
Outrageous.
Outrageousness. That's what Jim McMahon says.
We got our own fireworks over here, and now they're going to...
Well, here's the lineup for the first 7, not the lineup, but the way they line up right now. John Fetter, the car number 19 in first position, and second place, Darrell Fisher in the car number 1. In third, Butch McCluskey in the car number 36, followed by Brian Clayton in 91, and Bob Pennington.
We've got
15.
green once again. Let's go racing.
Yoo-hoo!
Fetter up front. Fisher right behind him and trying to do a little damage on the low side.
And here comes McCluskey challenging.
And all of a sudden, Fisher gets edged out of that number 2 position. Lap number 3 in our NASCAR Charger main event. Fetter, McCluskey, Fisher. That's how they stack up here in the early on of this one.
And Clayton in 91 trying to make his moves on Fisher for that third position. And here comes Bob Pennington, creeping up slowly.
We'll get a electronic eye on our leader here. Next circuit around while we're under the green and see how fast we're doing it at the top.
He may not be the leader for long. Butch McCluskey making a challenge on him, but nope, slides back. Doesn't quite get up there. And Brian Clayton right behind McCluskey. 1, 2, 3, Fetter, McCluskey, and Clayton.
Stopwatch is on Fetter. He is just completing his ET lap for us, and he is doing a lap right now at 24.41 seconds.
Not a bad time. Not bad at all. Fetter being challenged by McCluskey. McCluskey coming on the inside, but just can't quite catch up to Fetter. And here comes Clayton in the car number 91, challenging McCluskey. Uh-oh.
Tight quarters down here in turn 4 for some of the guys in the latter stage of the staging. So it always has the potential for some interesting antics on the track, whether you're in the lead or back in the pack.
Okay, Brian Clayton just overtook McCluskey, and he's now in second place.
Seesawing lead battle back and forth.
And John Fetter holding a lead. I won't say a comfortable lead, but he's still holding the lead.
2 emitting more and more smoke with each circle. John Fetter of Tucson in the lead. Brian Clayton giving chase, as is Butch McCluskey and Darrell Fisher. Terry Bennett has dove into the pits. Feverish work going on down there to try to get him returned to the field. We'll keep a close eye and ear on it.
George Camp tells him halfway, Tom. So we're halfway through the main event.
We've reached midway.
10 more laps to go in this main event of the Charger division.
Well, can anybody put a serious challenge on the lead in this one as he goes flashing by?
And Clayton's right next to him.
We got one dragging a bumper.
And we've got a new leader.
That's going to slow him down.
That's Brian Clayton moving out in front of John Fetter.
He's been charging, and it's his first race. Brian Clayton in his first race out here this evening, and in the lead right now.
And here comes Darrell Fisher trying to make his move up there, and we've got one up against the wall.
Once again.
And into the wall on the back straightaway.
Car number 55 getting into a bit of a scrape back there, you should pardon the expression. That's Eric White of Tucson in the Two Guys Pizza and Big O sponsored car.
And George Camp, we've got something dragging underneath the car number 26. I guess you already know about it. And George heads down to the field to talk to number 26. Looks like George Camp is going to send 26 into the pits and have him go on over to Midas Muffler Shop or something. He's got something hanging there.
Jerry, so far we don't have any charges.
Brian Clayton, car number 71. in the lead and in his first race. Butch McCluskey in that car number 36 has got a bumper clanging away there on the rear and dipping in the dirt every now and then. I think he has headed into the pit field to get some attention too, so a certain amount of attrition. Another one diving into the pits now too. I did not catch a number on that one.
That's Lee Kinkton in the car number 26. George Black flagged him. He had something hanging underneath him.
Leaves us with about a field of 14 cars right now in your Charger main event on a Larry Brandon Memorial Saturday night at Raven Raceway. What a neat-looking crowd. On behalf of Dave and Linda Manus and everybody associated with them who are Raven Raceway in 1987, a big, big thank you, folks, for
flag stand tells them one more time around.
Closer to intermission time, which will be coming up after your Charger main event tonight. 11 laps in the book on this one.
Got the semi-main for the late models coming up right after this one. And here they go again, Tom.
We've got green one more time. Can we run it this way till the wrap? Let's see. 11 laps down, 9 to go. If they can keep it lean and clean, we're in the business.
Uh-oh, look out there. Yeah, up in number 2.
Oh, my goodness.
They all seen him. That was close. That looks like Dan McMerrick over there. Let me put the glasses to it.
Still 11 laps down.
Still 11 laps down.
Yep.
He gets it re-going by himself.
Don McMerrick.
Fishtails it back into shape and heads around to, he'll be that way as we drop green once again. Here we go. And there they go. After John Fetter in number 19, your up front kind of guy with that first-time racer, Brian Clayton, hot on his bumper out of turn 2 and down the back chute. Still giving good chase as we head into lap 12 now for your leader, John Fetter, with Clayton trying to close it up now on the outside, and he doesn't get it done through turn 1.
Nope, but he's holding his own right behind Fetter.
And Darrell Fisher,
we've got
car number 1, is making some serious moves when we go back to yellow one more time. This time, because of that traffic, right up there in turn 4, car number 26. And I can't get a number on the second one yet. 26 is just sitting it out till the traffic gets by. He'll power it around. Don McMurray, I think, in car number 86. But let me get a confirmation on that as soon as we get his numbers out of the shadow that they are currently in. Or get a message from down there. It doesn't look like any serious damage done to the car.
That's McMerrick in car number 86. Up against the wall.
Our guy is around and talking with him through the windows just to make sure, and the tow trucks are in place to get their job done quickly.
Speaking of tow trucks, we've got a brown Nissan pickup out in the parking lot. Has to be moved. 8252 NZ, Arizona. And also a Toyota pickup, a white one, 1258 2A, I believe, Arizona. And you need to move these vehicles.
Because if you don't, Dave and Linda bring in their Huey chopper. And we take them over and sell them at auction at Davis Monthan.
Happy birthday going out to George Ray and Brent Robinson. Happy birthday. Also, we'll announce it in the main event, but Rick Sipes' birthday is today in the car number 4U, that Budweiser car.
You folks down here on the left side of our grandstands, if you would turn right now, look up at the press box area, see Dan Johnson with his television camera aimed at you, and give him a big wave and a yell.
Dan the man.
And then check out his Tucson on tapes, Raven Raceway tapes out here across the next week. Who knows? He ordinarily sells them for 25 bucks. If that's not your wife you're sitting with tonight, he might have a special deal for you for 125 bucks.
Hey, how about everybody giving Tom Boyd a big hand for doing such a fine job?
No, let's don't.
Yes.
Best job I did was finagling out of having to race that car out here last Sunday.
Uh-oh.
Let's do it under the green again. All of them but one want to go racing again, and that one avoids potential trouble up in turn 4.
Gordon Sams stalling out as the green flag was thrown to car number 23, Tom.
And we've got yellow before the completion of that circuit, as our guys keep a close rein on what's going on. And it does take a very observant eye to sometimes see what's going on at the back of the pack when all the excitement seemingly is up front.
As Tom Boyd is outside, I feel like Huntley and Brinkley are. I'm in here all alone, and he's out there in the fresh air. How's the weather out there?
This is lovely
It's
out here
lovely,
tonight.
huh?
I'll bet the folks up on Stomper Hill are just having one swell of a time. You guys having fun on Stomper Hill tonight? Let's hear it. They're going to be starting off our Raven Wave a little bit later on tonight, Jack.
A Raven Wave.
Haven't seen it with this many folks quite yet this season, but it ought to be a dandy tonight with a full house and then some. And don't forget, right after our main event for the late models tonight, Dave Maness goes one-on-one with the winner of the race, front and center. And then after that, you folks invited to go right down with us into the pit stands and get to meet the drivers and the men who support these drivers up close and personal tonight in the pit field area right after tonight's racing. Stay with us for that. That's always a fun time. Sometimes it goes a pretty long time, too. Then we go to McGraw's. But right now, let's go racing!
John Fetter still out in front, and Brian Clayton going a little bit wide. Hey, Tom, look at that Darrell Fisher in that number 1 car.
Nice pack shooting it out of turn 2, and those guys are wanting to seesaw it back and forth all night. Fetter may have some business to do here.
He's holding her in there. And here comes Clayton taking a lead.
Maybe Clayton's first race, but I think he's taken dead seriousness into it with him tonight.
And here comes Darrell Fisher making his moves on Fetter.
3 abreast, fighting it out for that second position. Maybe even something better than second place.
White flag is out. Last lap coming up.
And it ought to be a charge to the finish, and they can both do it. 15 has been in the winner's circle before, Bob Pennington. Car is capable, so's the driver.
And
Fetter once in the lead, now in 3rd place. And Brian Clayton, car number 91, his first race, trying to hang on for the checkered, and I think he's done it. Super job there tonight.
Beautiful job of racing. We've got one spun out between 3 and 4, or 1 and 2.
So Brian Clayton has served notice and served it very well here tonight.
And look at Lucky Larry Davis. Had his luck for him tonight. He came in 4th place. He just snuck on up there.
Way to go. Wonder what we'll start calling him after Lucky.
I don't know.
Wears off.
Something.
Lucky Larry.
Hey, let's give him a big hand, folks. The car number 91, your winner, Brian Clayton.
These guys gave you a good show, and don't be leaving your seats because we're going to go to the late model semis next up. Then we'll be taking a break, calling out some lucky program numbers, hopefully giving some neat stuff to you. And then we'll be back for our big main event for the late models. But next up
It's our semi-main event for the late model drivers. They are the next to come tooling out here as tonight's show churns on and is chugging along in pretty good fashion time-wise.
Not bad at all, but let's not speak too soon here.
So we'll have fireworks coming up a little bit later on for you from across the way from the fairgrounds proper area. We get another one on the hook heading into the pit field.
By Mike Hancock.
Inside row 4, number 75, George's automatic transmission, Cactus boot and shoe, firmly behind Tucsonan George Banghart.
Outside of road number 4 in the car number 07, the O'Reilly Chevrolet car, Terry Green.
And George Camp says, let's do it under the green. We're racing again. And these guys are charging it again, too. Charging it right up to turn 1. A 15-lap semi-main event for you. For these dandies in their flying late models. And boy, are they doing some flying now. Seesawing and working up all kinds of strategy. But right now, all of them to a man, looking down the exhaust of number 55, Bill Brandon. And we've got yellow because of a miscue up in turn 4. It looks like the Terry Green O'Reilly Chevy machine has gotten mispositioned up there. He may just be waiting for the traffic to get by. And hopefully can get it recranked himself. Terry Green making the transition from drag racing to circle dirt racing here at Raven in 87. And he's got himself a flat front right, so he'll be heading to the pits. And hopefully getting a quick change back there. Terry Green, 07. Still getting the feel for that car. But he had a real good feel on it out here last week. Running a good, strong second place.
Well, the word...
Even by those videotapes, Dan not only working with Jack, as they say in the television business, the big main event. All of it available on Tucson on tape, Raven Tapes, next week for, I think, a very reasonable $25.
And there he is, the car number 24, back out on the track.
You've got enough cable to do it there, too. It's definitely worth it. A nice little breeze in our area tonight. Mother Nature has finally turned friend after being foe for so long. Hey,
here we go again.
Let's do it. Under the green. Bill Brandon up front and looking to keep it that way if at all possible, but he's got some close company out there down the back chute. We'll catch him on the next home parade and see how tight things are getting.
Got one spun out on the back chute, but he gets it back under control, and no yellow this time.
Carl Moldner trying to push his way up on and around Bill Brandon, but he's not going to get it done here.
Look at that at number 2. Another fine job of driving.
Great defensive driving being done here tonight. We get one tipped low. I think that's Brandon down here in turn 4.
Our leader, but the yellow flag goes out. Let's see what the officials are going to do on this one.
No damage done. And he was able to just sit that one out. Gave him a nice up-close personal perspective on the rest of the world of race drivers come driving by.
Tough luck for Bill Brandon, was in the lead and spun out on the front chute, and he's got to go to the rear of the pack.
It's all right. He can put on one whale of a charge when we get back to it. And we saw a super job of that done earlier tonight by Jack Moore. Didn't over-push it, just kind of conservatively sat there, kept his nose clean, let others
battle the attrition bug, and as they dropped out, after driving himself one position back up, he was given 2 more positions before we resumed hot and heavy racing, and then he was able to muster his best finish up to number 2. But a whale of a comeback effort. And here we go again. And Bill Brandon sets the pace with Carl Moldner Jr. in hot pursuit, just like we were before when we went to yellow. Then a gap. But that gap is now being closed, and rather rapidly, too, for the number 3 position. Here come the leaders. Brandon first in car 55. And a good push being put on right now by Jack Cocott in car number 4 up to 3rd position and closing the gap even more down that back chute. But he doesn't have room to do much with it going into turn 3. So let's see what he does up here on the backstretch as we get a puff of smoke out of one of those 2. Still looking at the exhaust of Bill Brandon in car number 55, who continues to hold the lead. Lap number 5, staring him in the face. And they're on it.
Jack Cocott trying to squeeze on the inside of Moldner, but just couldn't do it.
Yellow for...
Oh, that's Dana Fight.
The Mustang of Dana Fight.
Car number 84.
Having his problems tonight. Apparently in the area of suspension under that machine.
Uh-oh. That's the second time Dana has spun out, and George has got the black flag in hand, and he tells him,
take a break.
Hit the road, Dana.
And Dana does. So let's see if they can impress George Camp here.
Yep.
Fields reduced to but 9 in your semi-main event. George says, okay, guys, you've earned it. Now go do it.
5 laps down.
5 in the book. And 55, Billy Brandon in the lead down the back chute. Jack Cocott is closing in on him in position number 2. Brandon coming by, followed by Cocott, and then Carl Moldner Jr., who has been vying for the lead earlier on here this evening, but right now settling for 3rd best behind Brandon and Cocott. Here they come again. Bill Brandon, Cocott, Moldner, and then the rest of your parade, including 07 Terry Green. Still getting the feel for that machine. And overcoming that severed tire problem suffered earlier on in this race. Maybe he had a 2-lap jack back in the pit field. 2 laps to change that tire and get him back out here.
Roy Gibson in 4th place, trying to make his move on up.
Rapid Roy, and we've got white.
White flag.
1 to go.
1 to go.
To the leaders.
And he tried to get him that time. He just couldn't make it in there, Tom. Let's see what he does on the back chute.
Cocott giving it every effort, but it ain't going to be enough.
Fireworks.
Unless he finds a
he's got him. He's got him.
And he does. He slips by.
Goodness.
In between 3 and 4.
Woohoo! Look at the fireworks. What a finish.
He got a win over Bill Brandon.
A fireworks finish here at the semi-main event. Woohoo! I'll tell you
Come from behind Dandy, and boy, what a special chemistry you've got here at Raven Raceway tonight.
What a great job of driving.
Fireworks
Both
on
guys.
and off the track this evening.
Jack Cocott doing what a spectacular finish. Right toward the end, he just squeezed on the inside.
On the last lap, all the way down the backstretch. It didn't look like he could get it done. He put a good charge on, and in Thank you, Ken.
There he was. Hey,
good dive into turn 3, and sure enough, Lady Luck was there. And he was able to squeeze himself into victory between literally turns 3 and 4 and shoot to the checkered flag right down the home stretch. Radio Jack, they call him, man.
Radio Jack.
2-lap back Jack.
2-lap back.
You need more hands, Jack.
I need something.
We still got the big main coming up for you here this evening. We've still got some very special festivities for you. And we still remind you, somewhere, sooner or later tonight, somebody is going to hand us lucky program numbers, and we're going to go crazy, giving a whole bunch of stuff away. So we'll be doing that during intermission. Get your lucky program numbers handy for use at that time, and we'll be rattling those lucky program numbers off for you and giving away a host of really nice prizes and in some cases surprises here this evening. So we've still got a lot of show for you, including the fireworks right across the way coming up from the fire grounds tonight. What a great combination here at Raven Raceway. Larry Brandon Memorial Night. Dave Manus, front and center to participate in our special festivities here tonight. We'll have a special presentation for you here momentarily. Then we'll take a break from the action. And during that break, during that intermission, we'll be rattling off some lucky program numbers. So get your numbers handy. We got a bunch of goodies we want to give you. And we'll be doing that momentarily. So stay with us for that. And stay with us for a big late models main event tonight. If everything leading up to it is indicative of what the main is going to be all about this evening.
Flipping around in her down there tonight, and his little trusty radio in hand, and all set to give us a special presentation here in front of the grandstands at Raven Raceway. Thanks again, everyone, for turning out tonight. I think we got us a dandy big main event coming up momentarily.
What's this guy's name?
Nice stuff over here, too.
Linda? Okay, we'll get her page. Trophy girl.
Okay, Tom.
Linda.
We need to charge the trophy girl up here to the front, please. Have, Linda,
Do you know her name?
Debbie Jones.
would Debbie please come to the front, to the gates, please? We need the trophy girl.
She's fine.
Debbie Jones, one last call. Check in quickly, please, with Linda and Dave down front and center. The fireworks logo already come? I think maybe we saw the last burst, but boy, it was a dandy, Dave. I thought it had something to do with your driving on the track and that little miniature car.
Costume party.
Here we got the trophy girl coming down right now.
Watch your step.
First main event win, Larry Brown.
I want the trophy girl.
She's taken.
Eric Slam, number 91. A good show these guys put on. They've been doing it every Sunday. How about a nice round of applause for Eric Slam? We have a special wreath in honor of Larry Brandon. The wreath is replaced over his head. This is a bouquet of flowers. It was done by Burns Flower of Speedway. Good time racer, Ben Burns. Been around in the business a long time. Ben, thank you very much. He has provided the flowers all year for Raven Raceway. We must thank him an awful lot. He's done a fantastic job.
How about it? Here's your beautiful trophy, sponsored by Coca-Cola, Budweiser, Raven Raceway. How about it? Eric Simon, Sergeant, main event winner, Raven Memorial.
Are you sure I can't race tonight, Dave?
We're saving you for the best, I guess.
Oh, bring that trophy girl back out here.
Okay? You gotta win, though.
Oh, well, I'll win.
I'll grab that. Over here.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. One other important thing from free Skippers platter, Skipper Seafood, Skippers. We have 2 dinner tickets for the winner of the Charger main event tonight. Free dinner for Skippers.
Thank you.
And right now, we have one special thing I would like to remind you about. The little car you see down here is bought by Coca-Cola. We are doing it out here for this week and next week. It goes to the telethon next Memorial weekend. We'll be giving away live on TV. They're going to have the drawing, I believe, at 8 o'clock on the 25th. Tickets on this car is $1. It's all being donated 100% to the helping of the children of Arizona, Make America Happen, the Tucson Medical Center Foundation Fund. Coca-Cola, Raven Raceway is trying to raise some funds for them. Please, if you have a chance, an extra buck, go down there and buy $1 ticket on this car. I think you have a lot of fun with it, even if your kid wants it, that's for sure. But it ain't made for dirt, that's for car shirt. By Racers, Neckvelle car.
Larry here?
Larry, he's not here. You want to?
Larry, call him on the radio.
But he has to be present.
Billy.
Time to listen to a few things there. This is Tom Brandon. This is Larry's brother, Billy's brother, a bunch of brothers in the family, from what I understand. We're very honored to have him here tonight. His family has been well represented in racing for many years. I, for one, was racing in Manzanita during the time when the tragedy happened. I know for a fact that sometimes when these things happen, you don't know what the reason is. But I know safety standards and other things in racing have developed a lot better over the years. It's misfortune, and sometimes it does take an accident or some tragedy to happen, Tom. But we're sure proud to be representing your family and letting this memorial race continue on with a good cause.
Dave, I'd like to thank you and Raven Raceway. Mostly I'd like to thank all of you who come out here tonight to celebrate racing, to celebrate it with my family, and in particular to celebrate it with my brother. There was nothing that he loved more than racing, and I can guarantee you, if there's a place sitting up there, he knew it was too crowded tonight, so he stayed up there to watch this race. I'd like to also tell you that that car 55 is going to be up there in front tonight. We were running just a little bit slow in that first one, but we'll get him in the next one. David, I tell you, you can take great amount of pride in this facility, but more importantly, you've brought racing alive in southern Arizona again, and that's the one thing my brother wanted to know.
Well, it's not just me, Bob. There's a lot of great people in this town that have pulled together, pooled all of our ideas, worked real hard out here to start the show. We've had consistent crowds like this. Most of you people have been here before, I'm sure. And I think, let's give a nice round of applause to Tom Brandon and his family. Appreciate tonight to them. So let us use this as a memorial race. There will be a check given to the Broyden Center at St. Mary's Hospital. In fact, we're waiting on 2 people supposed to be arriving here any minute. But if they're not here, there will be a check given on behalf of Larry Brandon at the Broyden Center. Thank you, all of you. You all played a big role in this race tonight. Enjoy yourselves for a little while. Don't forget, next Saturday night and Sunday night, 2 straight nights of late model action with Chargers running on Saturday night with them. The Wayne Super Modifieds are going to run Sunday night with them. The rest of the year, the Chargers will be running with the late models on all the nights, all the events to give you a real fine show. The Chargers, I must tell you, there was a little rule I put in effect on these cars this year. A lot of people didn't agree with it at the beginning, but I think we're seeing the outcome of it now. We restricted them to a 2-barrel carburetor, which means they can run any size motor they want, but they have to run a stock, poly, or once again, congratulations to you on your main event win. And tomorrow the Chargers will be running again. It's their first point show of the year, and the off-road cars will be attacking the on-road course. So it's intermission time. We'll kick back for about 10-15 minutes. The late model main event will be coming out. We'll be ready to go racing for the finals tonight. Thank you very much for all coming. Don't forget to buy a ticket on this car up front. There's a special edition of Larry Brandon Memorial shirt available right out here by our bandstand at the Vance. He has a limited amount of them. There's, I don't know how many is left, but if you want a Larry Brandon Memorial shirt, I suggest you go out there now, pick one up, and have Raven Raceway on the back of it also. So thank you very much. Take 10-15 minutes for your mission, and we'll be ready to line the main event up here for you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave Matus, and congratulations again, Eric Simonson, on a fine win in that Charger division on this Larry Brandon Memorial Saturday night. It's going to be a short intermission. Let's keep back with one or two songs now. Let you get your drink of preference and or your goodies and get back to your seat.
I need to go. Who's the announcer? Where did he go? Casey just got the radio back. Alan, what's his name?
Oh, yeah, what was his name?
What was his name? Mike?
I can hear you.
Huh?
It's just up there from the decal.
Disc jockey.
Yeah, from KCEE.
Yeah.
You mean Steve?
Mission line up to the front and center, Jack Jacobs. Who do you have with you this time? That was my driver.
Thank you, Mr. Tom Boy. Doing such a fine job out there tonight. I'm here with the one and only Bob Allen from 790 Mighty KCEE. And Santa Claus walking down the front along with the Lone Ranger. How are you doing tonight? KCEE, our home station here at Raven Raceway. Bob, take it away.
Just like to thank everybody for coming out today. You having a good time? Oh, come on. How many people we got up there? We got at least 17,000 people up there, and all I can get is
Mike's the president.
Let's try it again, okay? On the count of three, I want to know how good you're doing. On the count of three, all right? 1, 2, 3. How you doing? Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. And listen, I got a whole handful of our new window stickers down here, and I'm going to be passing them out down along the front. If you want one of these, just going to give me a holler.
You want to do good explaining on that? Sure.
And also, I'd like to thank Dave Matus for doing a great job. Isn't this great? It's such a wonderful track. And Dave Matus has just done a wonderful job at this whole track. And once again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out.
Let's hear it for Bob Allen. All right.
Got another car that we need to pronto. It's a VW Rabbit, silver in color with Arizona tag on it. BCB 396. Got to be moved El Pronto because it is blocking later on with the exits and whatnot. My goodness. Who is out front and center?
Okay, here we go live again. You might think you're seeing things, but you're not. We got Santa Claus, we got not Connell, but the Vance Ranger. They're the people that were responsible for the fireworks you just seen over here at the fairgrounds, which was an extra treat for us tonight. They are from the St. Mary's Hospital Cesarean benefit causes, and they have different groups and associations they work with. They were the pick from Larry Brandon Memorial tonight to receive funding from the facility and the spectators and everybody that'll help somebody in the future as far as the burn center or whatever. We have the president, who is Mike Durham from the Centurion St. Joseph's Hospital, and he has a few words he'd like to. How about a nice round of applause for these guys that just bought the fairground? They work real hard at benefits, and we're here to show them we care too. Thank you very much. We appreciate the donation. Goes to St. Mary's Burn Center. I'd like to introduce you to Brian Harple. Brian's our event chairman and responsible for those fireworks. Thank you very much. We're really pleased on behalf of the St. Mary's Centurions and the entire community of Tucson to thank Raven
Raceway, Dave Manus, and everyone out here tonight for their support. Through efforts like this, the Larry Brandon Memorial, it allows us to helpfully provide services for the people that really need it the most, and that's the need. And it's just great to have the support from the entire city of Tucson. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to come over here. I think you're going to get back over there with Tyler's normal over there. Right now, guys, so look normal.